Welcome to the TK Show with the Athletic Bay Area's editor-in-chief, Tim Kawakami.
Everybody, Tim Kawakami here from TK Studios. Oh, I don't think I call that anymore. I call them Kawakami Studios. I'm sorry, we're changing things. The next studio will be TK Studios, and that will be soon. As I mentioned in my previous show today, we are changing platforms. We're changing a lot of things. But this is some of the final days of the Athletic TK Show. Actually, it's not the Athletic TK. It's just the TK Show in its second iteration. There will be a third one. But who better to have on as we wind down the clock on the old thing, ready to start the new thing, than the Athletic senior columnist, Marcus Thompson II. Marcus, we got one more. We got one more next week, but you are in this is the one we can actually talk about it, because the final one is just another guest who won't understand, but you understand the inner workings. You understand too much of it. What does it feel like to be winding down? Also, Warriors Plus Minus is winding down. I don't know if you wanted to announce that, but it is winding down this iteration and moving on to another life. How does that make you feel, Marcus?
Man, I feel like that second iteration was too short. But we kind of knew it might be coming, right? I almost feel like when we made the second iteration, it wasn't like planned.
No.
It was because our previous employer decided to hijack our stuff.
That is true.
So we had to recreate one on the fly, and now we're already about to be on to the next one.
Yep.
Let's hope this next one has some shelf life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's the thing. I think we've semi-proven that these two shows have shelf life, because we kept going with them, just because really what it was is we knew it was something, and we had to keep going with it, and we just couldn't stop doing it, even though everything hadn't really been lined up yet. Well, now things are beginning to line up, folks. That's what we're basically trying to say. Things are lining up, and maybe in January you'll really get to see the full force of our podcast might. Or we'll just fail like usual. So who knows?
What's funny is, TK, remember when you first started and you were told, man, don't do that. Nobody.
You mean at the San Jose Mercury News? Yes.
Yeah.
No, it was more like, we don't know if you can pull this off. We don't know if that's gonna work. That was a little while ago. Probably 200 podcasts ago, and if you add Warriors Plus Minus, probably 300 podcasts ago. So quite happy to be still in existence. And yes, people, we are not killing off these shows. In fact, they're only going to get stronger. We're just winding down this level of where we're at, and which was kind of ad hoc, and it's going to be, we're being told, much more organized and maybe more profitable too. How about that, Marcus? How about that part?
For me, anyway. I don't know about you.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to give. All my money goes to Marcus anyway. That's the way our contracts are built. Hey, you were at the A's announcement that, I guess, what we call it, a plan? Is it a project? What is it that they are striking up an idea, whatever it is, for Howard Terminal and to develop the Coliseum site in order to fund the Howard Terminal site? What were we calling it? What is your sense of where they are on this?
So, if you could. If there were levels to plans, I think this is a more closer to fruition plan than last plans,
okay.
Right?
Than Laney College, I hope. I hope it's better. Which lasted about 4 weeks, by the way.
It's not as far along as I thought. If after Laney College, right now, I'm announcing this thing when it's dang near ready to put shovels in the ground, right?
Yes. The shovel is in your hand. It's in your hand.
Here's the shovel right here, right? Yeah, it's gold and everything, right? Here go the shovel. Yep. We're about to use it next week. But I got the sense from the conversations afterwards that the Howard Terminal plan, or that level of plan, is further along. The Coliseum is much more of what we've seen in the past. We're like, hey, this is what we want to do.
Yep.
We don't know if we can do it, but hey, this is what we want to do. And it's definitely still PR, right? We've known the A's to milk the PR end of things. They just have a little bit more. They have more substance in the background, and for nothing else, I think the one thing that we saw that was probably let us know this was a little bit different is you had the A's, you had the port, you had the JPA, the Board of Supervisors, which is the county basically, and you had the City of Oakland all represented together, like all holding hands, singing "Kumbaya," like ready to say, "Hey, this is it." And like as far as like the grand scheme of thing, that doesn't mean the shovel's in the ground, but it definitely means they've taken another step because, especially after the last one where they announced the plan and then people were like, "Wait a second, hold up, we don't want this," right?
Yep.
So I think they were emboldened enough by that reality to say, "Hey, let's announce this thing." Which, if it were me, yeah, I wouldn't have been there. But this is what the A's do, pretty much.
John Fisher in attendance in any way, by the way?
I didn't see him. I was looking.
The owner of the A's, who's going to have to fund this at some point. So how are they going to? How are they paying for this, Mark? I mean, I'm sure they were asked how are they paying for this.
The question here's the difficult part. Like, look, it's going to be privately financed, and David Cavill was not like interested in breaking down how we're going to pay for it. But one of the problems is they just don't know how much it's going to cost.
Yep.
Like, I feel like in their minds they have a number, and they have a means to get that number. As you've thrown out, let's say $1 billion. So maybe it's like he's got, all right, I've got $1 billion accounted for, but they don't know if it's not going to be 1.5, right?
Yep.
What if it's 2? Like, they just don't know. So from what I was told, these next 4 months is going to be integral because now they get to find out like how much is it really going to cost to get the Howard Terminal ready. Like, what's the real price of that? You get the real price of that, now you can know what it costs, and then if it fits into what they have, fine. I don't think it will, but they've got to be able to have like, all right, like a contingency plan. If this is 1.5, well, I know where to go to get the other 500 million, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
just another 500,000. That's all. Just another.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
500 million. You're right. 500 million.
I got 500 million. Yeah, 500 million. Like, yeah. I mean, so here's what I don't. I mean, I gotta believe they're not gonna do this, right? But what if the number comes back? What if in their mind they got 1 billion and the number comes back 1.8? They're like, oh yeah, no, this is too much. Never mind. Like, it can't be that, right?
No, I mean, you would hope not. You would hope not. But I mean, with their past history, as I mentioned, and people got mad at me, my understanding is 6 site announcements in 14 years and 2 in 14 months. So they got to prove it. They absolutely have to prove it. And again, doesn't mean that they can't do it. And we know that John Fisher is really rich, but it's up to them to prove it. It's not up to us to go, oh my goodness, you're saving the franchise. How wonderful. That's no, that thing is over. Not that I do too much of that anyway, but that part is over. Let's see you figure out exactly what this plan is and explain it to us over at least the next few months, I would imagine.
I get the sense that like all Cavill kept saying was, look, this thing is 100% financed. Basically, don't worry about our money, right? We're going to pay for it. So I got the sense that, look, whatever it costs, we're going to find a way to pay for it. If that's the case, all right. But I wonder if there's a part where it's like, where he's like, I'm in and I can get 1.5 based, obviously they can deal with some private financing to people invest into it. A big part of it, one of the underrated parts, is that I don't think they're gonna 100% own the Coliseum part either.
Okay.
Like that, some of that might end up being city owned. If they're trying to keep Oracle, maybe that stays city owned. Like, I don't think they're sweeping buying the park, the whole Coliseum. Well, they definitely ain't doing it until they find out how much that Howard Terminal costs, right?
Yep.
And it is like, yeah, we had planned to do that, but we kind of exhausted all our money on this Howard Terminal. So y'all, so we gonna buy just the baseball part, and the rest is on you.
By the way,
I think it might be some of that,
which they still don't have an agreement for, obviously, because the county still has to have its share bought out. So there are complications. There are loose ends, I think, as I pointed out. But I get a sense that this is it, right? This is their best shot at it, and if they don't get it done, it's like the Mark Davis thing. Like, although I think Mark was a lot less interested and didn't get as far down the road as they did, but this is it. And if it doesn't work out next 6 months, John Fisher either sells or they talk about moving somewhere else. Would you agree with that?
No question. And I got the sense, like, I went up to Lippy Shaft, the mayor of Oakland, and I'm like, I'm gonna look me in the eye, like, is this the one? Like it's, and the fact that they are out there means they feel it's the one.
Yep.
That doesn't mean it's the one, but they think this is the one. Like this is it. And the only other possible outcome is that they like maybe this thing ends up $2 billion, and they're like, whoa, all right. Maybe they say let's switch. We got a plan C that we never mentioned, but it's building the stadium at Coliseum, right? Maybe that's the only fallback plan. But boy, there better not be another one of these for that. Like that's the one where you just start building the thing and let us ask questions, right? Like,
by the way,
what's happening over here?
You know what? You've been looking at Howard Terminal all this time. We've actually halfway done at the Coliseum.
Yeah, right. That's how it needs to be, right? Just like, hey, what are y'all doing over here? Oh, my bad. That thing didn't work. We already on this one. Like
that amphitheater thing? No. It's actually
no, that's not an amphitheater. No, that's it. That's what we're playing, right?
That's good. Oh man. Well, I mean, as you're Mr. Oakland. Do you feel the community feels this, or what do you think the city of Oakland stands on this? Just the people of Oakland, after going through this so many times, losing the Raiders, about to lose the Warriors. Where do they feel about the A's and this project?
I think there's definitely like an appreciation for the A's, at least just saying we want to be here, right? I mean, they've been. As much as there's this dialogue like the Warriors aren't leaving Oakland, like that's easy to say if you're not from Oakland, right? Yep. If you walked down the street from the stadium, you lived around the corner and it was there, like, yes, it's right there, but it's also not the same. So there's some value in the A saying, look, all right, nobody else loves you, but we love you. And also I do think that's what a lot of what the announcement was today, was saying, hey, we've talked to all of you, and just to let you know, this is not one of those greedy money grabs, right? Even though there's some money involved, like here's what we're envisioning for East Oakland. And I do think that's important to say. They could have just said, look, we're going to go Howard Terminal. We're going to build the best stadium in baseball and turn this area to a nice spot. East Oakland, it was nice, but y'all can figure that out on your own, right? But I think from the dialogue, Cavill, he talks to everybody. He talks nonstop, and he's always down for the conversation with the office hours and all that. And there's a lot of people involved who really care about what happens with East Oakland. And I think it says something that they were like, yeah, we can be a part of that solution. And one of the issues is, like, if they left and you just have this lot owned by Oakland and the county, I mean, the question is, can they take this 100 acres and make it bubble? I don't know that they can. Yeah. I think they know they might not be able to. So now the A's are saying, look, we'll help you make it bubble, like as a kind of a tip of the cap and to let you know this whole rooted in Oakland thing is real. Does it happen? Who knows? I think today was about letting people know, like, we're not going to give up on East Oakland. We've heard what you've said, and this isn't the typical, like, business, let's go for the most dollars possible. We do kind of care about where we were. And if nothing else, the A's have mastered that, right? They know how to make you feel loved. They do know how to do that.
That's all right. That's not a terrible thing. And you know what? This is the one that this, city council and the mayor's office has wanted all along. There's no question about that, because it's close to downtown, because, it's a site that's on the water. It's, all those things that we know about it, that they could really, it could possibly now, well, who knows with the gondolas and all this, the stuff that seems a little bit far-fetched. I can't imagine what the price tag for that's going to be. But anyway, it is have that urban heartbeat feel to it. And if you can also get the Coliseum site into some sort of interesting development, then that's a twofer. That I think if you asked Libby Schaff, what would you want, that she would have said this exactly. And if you would ask many members of city council, they would have said this exactly. So, and they would not have said the same about the Laney College site, although there were some strengths to that. One of them was not, however, having approvals to do it, which they found out very quickly. So we'll see. I hope they get it done. I think I've always thought I've been told the Howard Terminal site was wrong, and I know very smart people have said it was really the best one, and I've agreed with the really smart people. It's the best site. It's the one that makes the most sense.
It's the one that says, like, we're doing this, right? Like, you could go the safe route, right? You can go build a stadium, but what's the point? You're spending $1 billion. You need to drop a jaw or two with it, right? Like, I mean, they could just build a stadium at the Coliseum, but what is that really? And for me, like, we've seen Joe Lacob kind of have this mindset of like, look, I don't want to just be good. I'm trying to run the whole thing, right? I want to take over the whole league. The A's have never had that mindset. No. It's always been do what you can to survive. Like how much can you win with? Or it's like school shopping for your kid. Be like, you got $200, right? This is all you get. Yep. This is them saying, like, we're not like that anymore. If we're gonna build a stadium, let's try to build the absolute best one possible. And if that's a philosophy, especially if it trickles down to the field, right, that's exactly what you want from ownership. It's like, look, let's not penny pinch anymore. How much is it going to cost? Like, obviously, you got to be smart, and money spending isn't always the answer, but it's such a drastic change from the A's where money has always been the reason they couldn't do it, right? Now they're like, hey, this might be $2 billion. Let's go for it.
Yeah, you know what? And also, it's been all these years just looking at the Giants in AT&T Park and go, oh, yeah, the Giants, oh, they get everything. Oh, they're just too rich. Oh, they just – well, you know what? You can't exist like that as a franchise.
Absolutely.
We have to say we're going to take the Bay Area back from them. You have to say that. And a lot of Cavill stuff has been rinky-dink, and the whole parking thing or whatever. Yell, I go A's or whatever. It's all stupid. But I would have say you do have to get out of the inferiority complex. You do have to say we're a major league franchise in the Bay Area. We're not, in Podunkville. It's the Bay Area. It's Oakland. It's a lot of tradition there. Embrace that and don't run away from, oh, the Giants are doing this. The Giants are mean.
Yeah, right. We're small market, and we're in the number 6 market in the country.
Absolutely.
I feel like that. Like, I mean, look, think about where it is. I mean, you will be able to stand at the A Stadium and look at AT&T Park like, what? Like, let's do battle, right? Like, I mean, that's what you want. I mean, if you really want to represent Oakland, that's what it is. Like, it's a civil rivalry, but it's still a rivalry. Like, yeah, if you're gonna do it, try to build a better one, right? Try to outdo them. Don't do the whole shrinking. I don't know. They got all this money. Like, nah, that's not Oakland. Oakland is like, what? We don't have any money. Let's go. We're going to figure this out anyway. We'll beat you anyway.
By the way, in our powerful producer, Ben Cruz, does remind me that I should tell you that we're talking on Wednesday, the day of the press conference, but we will drop this on Thursday morning. So when we say today, it's Wednesday, not Thursday, but this will first appear on Thursday. That's very good to clarify. Thank you, Ben, for that note. Speaking of
I thought Ben was scrounging up DVDs. Like,
he was going through some of them. I've got some good DVDs, and I'm like saying, you know what? Someone who can watch DVDs, that's Ben Cruz. I love it. Go take a look at some of my old ones. That's the things you find at my house sometimes.
We're going to take a quick break to talk about our friends over at Hims. 66% of men lose their hair by age 35. Some of you Warriors fans probably have a joke about this regarding a certain Los Angeles Laker, but it's not funny when it happens to you. The thing is, when you start to notice hair loss, it's too late. And why do guys turn to weird solutions, or even worse, do nothing, when they can turn to medicine and science? 4hims.com, a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, and sexual wellness for men. Thanks to science, baldness can be optional. Hims connects you with real doctors and medical-grade solutions to treat hair loss. No waiting room, no awkward doctor visits, and save hours by going to 4hims.com. It's insanely easy. Answer a few quick questions, a doctor reviews them, and can prescribe you products which are shipped directly to your door. Order now, and TK's listeners get a trial month of Hims for just $5 today right now while supplies last. See website for full details. This would cost hundreds of dollars if you went to the doctor or a pharmacy. So, go to 4hims.com/TK. That's FORHIMS.com/TK. 4hims.com/TK. We're going to take another quick break to talk about our friends over at Robinhood. Robinhood is an investing app that lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, options, and cryptos, all commission-free. They strive to make financial services work for everybody, not just the wealthy. The Robinhood app is insanely easy to use, which is fantastic for a novice like myself. Other brokerages charge up to $10 for every trade, but Robinhood doesn't charge commission fees. Trade stocks and keep all of your profits. There's easy to understand charts and market data. Place a trade in just 4 taps on your smartphone. The Robinhood web platform also lets you view stock collections and analyst ratings of buy, hold, sell for every stock. Learn how to invest as you build your portfolio. Discover new stocks and track favorite companies with personalized news feeds. Custom notifications for price movements so you never miss the right moment to invest. Robinhood is giving our listeners a free stock like Apple, Ford, or Sprint to help build your portfolio. Sign up at tkshow.robinhood.com. That's tkshow.robinhood.com. And now, back to the TK Show.
Let's talk about that photo shoot. I know you don't want to give it all up because I hope I see a nice big piece on it behind the scenes, but Steph Curry's slam photo shoot. Now, was that his idea to make it Oakland, to make it the heart of Oakland, to grab the people who mean the most to Oakland, except for you, of course. I'm not counting you in that. But was that Steph's idea? How did that all kind of generally come about?
Yeah, that was Steph's idea. We actually talked about this last year. Like he knew coming up on 10. Look, first off, this is insight to how Steph actually feels. And I know we've talked about it before on Words Plus Minus. While people are like, yeah, chase center, there's a contingent in the Warriors who's like, yeah, I understand, but man, this is gonna be hard, right? And Steph is one of those people. Yeah. And that's so I remember talking to him about it last year. And he's like, I want to do something to represent. Like, I don't just want to leave, right? It matters to him a lot. So it was his idea. Then it just became a matter of how to pull it off. And what was interesting was I think the reason he went the route he went was because, remember in 2013, before he was Steph Curry, right? Before he was this guy, he made the switch to Under Armour.
Yep.
And, at the time, it was like, what are you doing? Why would you leave Nike for Under Armour? Because he wasn't – he even made the playoffs yet, I don't think.
Maybe one time. Maybe one time.
Oh, yeah, this was before the Clippers. This was before the Clippers, right, yeah. So it was his first time doing the slam shoot. I remember because I was writing for the Mercury News, and I was supposed to ask if I could write it, and I didn't. But they were like, the cover story for Slam Magazine. So I asked, I did it a backdoor way. I was like, hey, I want to write a story about sneakers. You think you're interested? They were like, nah. So then I was like, all right, they don't care about a sneaker story. So then I wrote the story for Slam Magazine about how Steph will switch his sneaker companies, right? So
a little look at the way Marcus does things too. A little way Steph does things, the way look at the Marcus.
I'm telling this to my boss. Who the last time I had my boss, I didn't tell him, but I figured they would say, nah, you can't write for another publication, right? But so, whatever. And he did that, and I think that was kind of the start of Steph Curry, like that moment, switching to Under Armour, like going out on his own, like betting on himself, because he brought, Ethan Strauss wrote a great article for ESPN back in the day about how Nike lost him. But that was him saying, I'm about to do this on my own, and I'm going to make the Warriors my team. And, this was like him coming into his own. So I think there was some, sentimentality there. Like, hey.
Wearing those orange shorts, too, by the way.
Yeah. Absolutely. The Warrior shorts that he started with. Like, he's really into this right now, this whole last year at Oracle, last year in Oakland, like he's and I'm giving away a little bit of article, but he's done right. So little tease. He's been so connected. Many people lived in San Francisco. He lived in Oakland. He lived by the lake, and then he lived downtown, right? And the only reason he had to move away is because he started having all these kids and stuff, and needed house and space and all that. But he and his family, they like it. So it is important to him, and it's special. And I think it really meant a lot for all of these people who are from this area to say, yeah, kid from Charlotte, like you're one of us.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
You know, like it's funny because you forget Steph is from Charlotte. Like he's not even from here, but now he's kind of like so ingrained in the culture here. And obviously this happens in other places, right? Like Aaron Rodgers is that in Green Bay, and he's not from there, but
Well,
I think it just matters to
winning
him.
helps, but there's also
Winning helps,
yeah.
no question. Winning helps.
But
It matters to him though. It's important to him that they've like E40 and Mr. Fab and Chef Smelly and and he would not let me not be in it. He's like, man, you're the author of Golden. You got to be in it. I'm like, ah. And so
when they move to San Francisco, you're going to get dropped by everybody there. You know that. Like
I think that's why he was like, you kind of got to be in it because this is it, dude. Like this is it.
End of it. Forget about it.
We had a good run, but I'm turning a new leaf.
Okay, I shouldn't even be trying to do this because we do want everyone to read your column, but give us a scene, give us a moment that you're always going to remember from that. You had so many interesting people walking around in that photo shoot and that video shoot. Give us one little moment, maybe that you're going to remember and you're not going to put in the column.
So the interesting part about that was I brought my best friend with me. He cut my hair, and he I normally get a haircut like maybe twice a month, right? Maybe I'm sorry, once every 2 months. And he was like, "Nah, you about to be on the cover of Slam. You can't." So he's like, "Come get your haircut." And then he did all this fancy stuff. I normally get none of this stuff, but he was like, it took an hour and a half, and I'm like, "Dude, what are you doing?" So I was like, "Just come with me to the thing." So he came to the thing, and I was introducing the people. He knew a lot of people there because he's from Oakland. And it was like just watching Steph. Like Steph came up and we chatted and we just had a conversation with three of us. And Steph doesn't know my friend, but he just had the conversation. And then you watch him walk, and now he's talking to Chef Smelly and Chef Smelly's kid. And now he's talking to Andre Ward. And now he's talking. And it just dawned on me how, like, this isn't just a show. It isn't just really like I'm gonna do this because it's the cool thing to do. Like each of these stops, he had a relationship already to the point where it was like, hey, I'm gonna introduce you to my friend, and you're gonna talk to my friend too, right? Like So it's like, so it was like, whoa, so that guy too, and the coach at Bishop O'Dowd, the high school basketball coach at Bishop O'Dowd and Oakland Tech. Like, oh, you already know him. Oh, wow, you're talking to this guy. You already know him. Like, Steph, like, how do you have this relationship with all these people? And the director at East Oakland Youth Development Center. There was one point, like, they told us it was funny because you had all these kids, and the photographer was sprinkling the quote unquote influencers into the crowd, right? So you got the shot, and so it was me and Andre Ward, and they put us in there, and we were like, it was just, it's just kids everywhere, right? And it's crazy. And Andre Ward is like maybe 10 feet from me, but he's like totally playing the hall monitor. Yeah, because there's kids who've been out there for like 2 hours, right? And they're all antsy and they're bouncing, and Andre Ward is the one who's like, hey, calm down, be quiet. Hey, put your phones away. Be still. This is like, I'm like, dude, they've been out here for 2 hours. Like, good luck. But he's out here like being a disciplinarian to the kids.
Well, he's got like 8 kids too, so.
Right. Like, this is what he does. This got a window to his life. Like, this is what he does.
Yeah.
But man, so he's like, hey, put your phone away, and the kids like put their phones away. Like, this is Andre Ward talking. And then there was at one point, because we were all kind of far away, and Steph is like, come get over here. And I had like kind of went into the back, and it was like Regina Jackson from EOYDC. And he's like, come stand next to me. And he's like, come over here. And he tells, everybody come over here. And so he was like basically forcing people to come over. Like even Al, you right here. Mr. Addles, I'm sorry, right here. And he just like is directing traffic. But it was just like, you could see that he had a relationship with all these people. Right. And sometimes the magnitude of Steph, it makes you say, man, because he's so big. Like when you talk, you talk to Steph all the time. He doesn't seem like this global icon,
no.
But he is. Yep. Right. And we deal with him all the time. But, it was interesting to see that the same relationship that he has with us, like he has with chefs and rec center directors and police officers. Right. So that was like, wow, like he's really out here. Like
Yep.
this isn't really a game for him.
Yep. Okay, that's just too. Okay, we got a column coming up.
That's
we
the
don't want to
column, right?
You
Yeah.
just
So
gave away the
I don't
column.
have to write it now, right? I'm
No, you
good.
still have to write the column. It's got to be better than that, by the way. Now you just raise the stakes because now I'm really into it. Well, I knew I was going to be into this. You know that I was going to be into this no matter what. But that video, I really got it. I thought it was whoever did it did a really nice job. Slam. I haven't read the story. I don't even know the story's out, but the video.
Yeah,
part
it's out.
Okay, I got
Yeah,
it.
the video was good. Video was good.
Yeah, video was really just gave you a feel for the moment, and I really appreciate that. And didn't have you in the video either, so that was probably a plus. They probably just did whatever they could to keep you out of that video.
Yeah, I wasn't doing that. By the way, I should say they made me take off my athletic beanie.
Horrible.
I had on my hat that said the athletic, and they were like, "Take that off," and I was like, "No." And then eventually it was like, "Look, dude, we're just gonna crop it out. So just take it off."
Hey, you know what? They take it out if they know there's a threat there. If they know what's coming. That's
It's respect, right?
Fine
like,
by
nah,
me.
we can't. We don't want that on our cover.
If they didn't care, then they would just put it out there. We'll just finish it off. I talked a little bit with Baggerly about the Charles Johnson issue, and he's asked for the check to be returned, and the boycott's been called off by certain civil rights leaders. I understand all of this. Where do you come down to what people maybe should feel about the Giants because their principal or what majority or whatever you want to say, plurality owner, has made some really questionable donations. I mean, to American politicians, not illegal, but to politicians who are just flat out have appealed to racists.
I mean, first off, like I will say that people should feel what they want to feel.
Yep, that's how I
Right?
feel.
Like,
I mean, absolutely.
like you feel what you want to feel, but secondarily, I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. If the Giants get good, everybody will shut up and they will go watch the games. Right? Like, I mean, I know we like to play this like soapbox and high. I got it. Like, I understand, but I don't believe people care that much. Right?
Yep.
I don't believe they're gonna for $5,000. $5,000.
Yep.
Like, I mean, I get it. I don't like from what I've read. I'm like, all right, I know who he is and where he is. I don't think he's that much different from other owners. Like, there's no shock in a rich dude who has this ideology, right, or political background. Like, it doesn't surprise me. As a matter of fact, I think if you dug into some of the owners who we beloved or who we adore as fans, you probably come into some worse stuff.
Yep.
But in the end, like, look, you should feel what you want to feel. But I do feel like there is a bit of an awakening that has happened. Maybe you probably know this better than me, but 10 years, 20 years where you don't get to just operate in a cloud of smoke room, right? And if that stuff gets out, it matters, right? And we saw it with Sterling. It wasn't like, maybe before, I don't know DeBartolo's politics, but that just felt like a time where the owner did whatever the hell he wanted to do. And what were you gonna say?
Yeah, what do you think George Steinbrenner was doing all these years?
And, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, and it wasn't even the place of a fan to say anything about it. Like, this is what you did. And now it's like, all right, you either better keep your stuff swept under the rug or in the closet or just be ready to deal with it. And we've seen Mark Cuban have to, probably one of the most proud, perhaps arrogant dudes you've ever seen, like on the jump on Rachel Nichols, like trying to muster all the contriteness he has, right?
Well, that was over a whole other,
but like they're not untouchable.
Yes, that's true.
The way they used to be, and I don't even really know when it started to happen, but I think we're probably get to the point where people aren't calling them Mr. Makeup anymore.
No,
right?
no, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. People seem to love that.
You deal with the fan worshipers all the time, but I mean, there is more awareness. Like, people are aware of what they're spending their money on. People are aware of who's like really fleecing the community and who's really being a part of it. Like, there's some awareness that's happening, but it only means you choose what you be a fan of. And I don't think the Giants will take much of an L for this, but if they're losing and now you got this whole, like, it's like, all right, it'll be easier to walk away from, but let another Tim Lincecum walk in.
Yep. Well, I'll put it this way,
we'll forget all about it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Jed York is a Democrat, or if he's not a Democrat, he's very close to being a Democrat. is part of a lot of progressive social groups. Again, I don't know that he's a Democrat. I don't know that he's a liberal, but he supports a lot of the things that are. Do you think that matters to 49ers fans when they're 2-9?
Right.
You think a liberal 49er fan is going to go, I'm going to really, really, really still root for this team at 2-9? Think that matter when Jim Tomsula was his coach? No, it's the team. It's the entertainment value. It's, you don't care about the head of the studio that makes a crappy film. You care about the film. So
and the actor.
Yes, the actor, the director, who's making this happen. But I do agree, if you are turned off by it, then by all means, don't spend money on this team. Absolutely. But I think you're going to go. I am not a big fan of the Chick-fil-A company, but when there's a Chick-fil-A in front of me, I eat it. I eat it because it's good.
I got Kobe's. Sometimes I forget. I forget about Eco Colorado.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, again, there's a lot of things. Sometimes you have to edit out, or you just appreciate the moment, and or you're disgusted by it. That's okay too. But the thing that Bagley stresses is that look at what the organization does. Look at the outreach that they do. Look at all their history with LGBT and all the different playgrounds and all these things that they've done. Charles Johnson isn't that. He's an owner, absentee owner who, again, you're responsible for what you do, and he is the principal owner, but the franchise itself represents a whole lot of other things. So
I do think it's probably safer in this day and age to judge the individual for the individual's behavior, right? It's probably the one way we can get away with being mad about it and still enjoying the product.
Yep,
right? It's like, I don't like Charles Johnson, but I'm a ride with Buster Posey, right? Like,
yeah,
you can
absolutely.
do that.
Yep.
Yeah, like we're gonna figure out a way to enjoy our sports though. Like CTE ain't stopping it, racist owners ain't stopping. Like, nothing's stopping it. This is what we do. We're gonna enjoy our sports. I don't think that's gonna stop. And there will be some people who will rage against it. I got it, and more power to them. I know people who do not watch the NFL at all because Kaepernick is not playing, right? And look, I actually respect that. They are violating American culture. They're like, look, I can put this down if I need to. I just don't know how many people can actually put this down, right?
Yep.
So
it's the addiction, the sports addiction, but we're all part of it, and I'm part of it too. So
yes, sir.
Yeah, and you and I have jobs because of it. So we're not gonna fight it too hard. Although we might comment about it here or there, we're not gonna fight it. All right, Marcus, talked to you plenty. I think you still have a column there, right? But I gotta ask you. You've been on the show many times. I'm sure I've asked you many times, but I'm still gonna ask you, Marcus, what's your favorite restaurant?
I got a new one.
Good.
So I got two actually. One because my wife is gonna be so mad at me for saying it, but.
So Chef Smelly is my new favorite, but it's really a pop-up shop.
Yep.
And it's like Creole Southern. I'm a big Creole fan, and it's really hard to find Creole style food out here. And oh man, he's incredible, but it's so unhealthy, TK. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Gather from because my wife is probably gonna hear this. I'm going with Gather in Berkeley. It is a vegetarian restaurant, and we went there and it was so good, and I didn't have any meat, and it was incredible. Wow. So now I'm a regular at this place. But Gather is legit. Like, they really got me liking vegetables.
I have people who I go to meals with who are vegetarians, and we sometimes go to vegetarian style places. I cannot do it. I can't do it. I need
it's
something.
So hard, right?
You can trick me maybe. I've heard that there's some real great ways you can trick, but I still can't. I think, didn't I have something like they call it like the you wouldn't believe burger or something?
Yeah.
Impossible burger. Actually, that was pretty good. It's actually that was pretty good. I don't even remember where I had it, but
they're all over now.
I don't want to do it. I just don't want to.
You make me okay with eating a meal without meat, then yeah, you winning in my book. And I can go there. I can go there for lunch. I can go there for dinner. It's a little pricey, but yeah, I'm gonna go there. Chef Smelly is my favorite though. Don't get it twisted. But wife, it's Gather, Dawn. It's Gather.
Gather's the official answer. The other one's the unofficial answer. All right, MT. Way to go. Appreciate it as we wind down the second iteration of the TK show and quietly Warriors Plus Minus. There will be a third one better than ever, but this is the wind down of the second one. So rudely started when the San Jose Mercury would not give up our title. All right, everybody. That's the show. Thanks.